seated. Yes. We were on the question of Mr. Edouard, I think. So do you have... Yes?
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je voudrais demander au ministre s'il y a un plan pour la transition vers les énergies renouvelables pour Rodrigue.
Oui, effectivement, Madame la Présidente, nous avons un plan. On travaille déjà sur un plan avec le AAE et sur la transition énergétique. Mais comme je l'ai dit dans ma réponse initiale, c'est que d'abord et avant tout, nous allons insister sur la sécurité énergétique. La sécurité énergétique veut dire qu'il faudra assurer que les Rodriguais, les Rodriguaises en général, soient pourvus d'électricité au moment voulu. Mais, au même moment de la transition énergétique, la sécurité énergétique vont de pair.
Merci, Monsieur le Ministre. Monsieur François.
Just one supplementary, Madam Speaker. May I ask the Honourable Minister whether he is aware if CB Rodrigues is contemplating of recruiting additional human resources for an efficient and effective service there?
Sorry?
Additional human resource, recruitment.
Ouais. Et le nécessaire sera fait. Mais je veux dire que nous regardons d'une façon holistique l'approche générale. C'est pour cette raison que j'ai demandé à une équipe de Maurice avec plus d'expérience d'aller à l'île Rodrigue pour voir en général ce qui peut être fait. Mais assurez-vous, messieurs et dames, des membres de l'Assemblée nationale, que le nécessaire sera fait pour assurer cette sécurité énergétique.
Thank you very much. Honourable fourth member for Rodrigues, your next question.
Madame Speaker, B90.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Mauritius Shipping Corporation Limited that following a bidding exercise carried out, the contract for dry docking of MV Mauritius Trocasia was allocated to Columbus Shipyard, Public Limited Company, on the 2nd October 2024 for a sum of $1,281,178, equivalent to $60 million. Accordingly, the MV Mauritius Trocasia sailed for Columbus Shipyard, Sri Lanka, on the 28th September 2024 and was dry docked on the 7th October 2024. The dry docking and repair works of the MV Mauritius Trocasia was completed on the 3rd December 2024, and it left Colombo on the 10th December 2024 to reach Port Louis on the 17th December 2024. On the 6th December 2024, the Mauritius Shipping Corporation Limited has effected payment in US dollar of $613,985, representing 50% of the repair costs, and will settle the 40% in March 2025 and the remaining 10% in June 2025. As regards Part B of the question, I'm informed by the Mauritius Shipping Corporation Limited that during the last trip of Mauritius Trocasia to Agaliga, the vessel collided with the jetty on the 2nd February 2025 due to inadequate tug assistance, and this has caused underwater hull damage. Moreover, above water hull has also sustained damage due to lack of proper fenders on the jetty. Madam Speaker, regarding Part C of the question, the Shipping Corporation Limited contacted Chantier Naval de l'Océan Indien for dry docking of the vessel. On Wednesday, 19 February 2025, the latter has indicated that no slot is available before December 2025. On the same day, the Mauritius Shipping Corporation Limited contacted a company, namely Fisherman, located in Diego Suarez, Madagascar, for permanent repair of the vessel. On the 24th February 2025, Fisherman confirmed that its dry dock would be available as from the 27th February 2025. Necessary clearance has been sought from Bureau Veritas Classification Society located in France and Flag Administration for the vessel to sail to Madagascar. Subject to favorable reply, permanent repairs will be carried out in Madagascar and expected to be completed in a month. Madam Speaker, I'm further informed that Mauritius Shipping Corporation Limited will put the MV Trocasia into commercial operation and into Rodrigue and Agaliga until all repairs are carried out. And when I mean repairs, full repairs. As regards voyages to Rodrigue, the Honourable Member can rest assured that MV Perus Banus shall continue with its usual 3 regular voyages per month so as to avoid any disruption in cargo transportation. The Mauritius Shipping Corporation Limited is currently liaising with local shipping companies for chartering a vessel to additionally service Rodrigue and Agaliga in the event of unpredictable circumstances.
Thank you, Minister. Yes? The Honourable Third Member for Gambé-Poudre-d'Eau. Yes? B92. Yes, Minister?
Madam Speaker, with regard to Part A of the question, I am advised by the Financial Services Commission that recruitment and promotion exercises are carried out in accordance with Section 80 and Section 81 of the Financial Services Act 2007 and in line with the recruitment and promotion policies of the FSC. And please bear with me, I will read those policies. So the recruitment and promotion policies are laid down in the Terms and Conditions of Employment 2023 of the FSC, which stipulate the following. Firstly, the Commission may employ, on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit, such employees as may be necessary for the proper discharge of its functions. Where the Commission decides to fill any vacancy arising on its establishment for any post, it may resort to any form of advertisement, whether internal or otherwise, and prescribe such qualifications, experience, competencies, skills, and aptitudes for such posts as it deems fit. The recruitment, appointment, and promotion of employees shall be made by the Board, which may empower the Staff Committee or delegate to management on such terms of reference as it considers necessary, including requests to examine, interview, and shortlist candidates. There will be equal opportunities for recruitment, employment, learning and development, advancement, and promotion to all based on merit. And finally, when vacancies arise, the FSC shall give priority to internal candidates first before searching externally should a suitable candidate not be found. Madam Speaker, as to Part B of the question, I am informed by the FSC of the following. First, the manager, Human Resources, was previously appointed on a contractual basis with effect from 1st April 2022 for a period of 2 years. Thereafter, the contract was extended twice up to September 2024. Following an internal advert which was launched on the 2nd May 2024, the incumbent has subsequently been appointed on probation with effect from 1st September 2024 with a view to confirmation on a permanent and pensionable capacity. Second case, the manager, Communications, was initially recruited on a contractual basis as PR and Communications Officer for a period of 2 years with effect from 11 October 2021. The contract was extended for a further period of 1 year. The incumbent has thereafter been appointed as manager, communications on probation with effect from 1st October 2024 with a view to confirmation on a permanent and pensionable capacity following an internal advert launched in May 2024. Third, one director and 3 assistant directors were serving as permanent employees as senior managers and were appointed on a performance contract on an assignment basis in line with the review report conducted by Mr. Apana in 2016. On 1st September 2024, they were all appointed in substantive capacity. And finally, 1 director and 2 assistant directors were initially appointed on a contractual basis in 2018 and 2019. They were offered a new contract for a period of 2 years with effect from 1st September 2024, renewable subject to satisfactory performance. Madam Speaker, I am further informed by the FSC that 51 employees in different grades were recruited during the period January 2024 to November 2024 up to the elections, out of whom 48 are on a permanent basis and 3 on a contract basis. The board has been requested to look into this recruitment done during the year prior to the election. Madam Speaker, as regard to part C of the question, I am informed that the current head of the AML-CFT Directorate, Mrs. Y.S., joined the FSC on 9 January 2013 as Assistant Manager, formerly known as Chief Examiner, on a permanent and pensionable basis. She was promoted to the post of Manager with effect from 1st September 2018 and has been assigned the responsibilities of Acting Senior Manager in the AML-CFT Directorate with effect from 3rd October 2022. In addition to her salary, she is being paid an acting allowance and other benefits in line with the FSC terms and conditions of employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Yes?
Madame la Présidente, tout semble indiquer qu'une série de recrutements et de promotions ont été faites juste avant les élections. Et ma question au ministre, c'est si les résultats de l'enquête en cours seront publiés à l'avenir.
Vous avez entendu? Moi, j'ai eu du mal, hein?
Je peux répéter la question.
I will see with the board, but as you know, there's also data protection concerning employees. There's a contract of employment between the employer and the employee, so there's so much that can be disclosed outside of their contract. Yeah, subject to advice. Thank you.
One moment. One more and then one behind you, then you.
Par rapport à cette question et aux informations et à la protection des données, il y a une utilisation de l'information. Est-ce que vous avez contacté le Law Office pour ne pas donner ces informations?
The Data Protection Act is quite clear. We cannot disclose, we will be in breach of the Data Protection Act if we disclose personal data. And also, the employer has an obligation for the employee not to disclose those information.
Okay, yes?
Madam Speaker, the regulator, considering the fact that the regulator imposes on licensees to carry out due diligence, the more so to check if the applicants are PEPs, exposed person, could the minister advise, if she is aware of the recruitments she just mentioned, how many of them were PEPs, and if the FSC is aware to which political people those employees are attached? Thank you.
I will make inquiries and give back the information.
Yes, yes, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is clear that the FSC had not...
Please speak. I don't know, is there a problem with the mic? Please speak up, all of you, please.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is clear that the FSC
had not adhered to the proper recruitment process on the eve of the election. Can you consider to request the board to cancel these appointments?
The board has been made aware of those 51 recruitment done in the year before the election, and I have asked them, the board is mandated with the powers, and I have asked them to look into this, and I'll wait for the outcome.
Yes. Yes, Honourable Third Member for Bobassan Petite Rivière.
B93.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the National Land Transport Authority that some 22 buses of the United Bus Service Limited operate along Route 45, which run between Albion and Rose Hill. According to the established timetable, these buses operate at a frequency of 10 to 20 minutes, whereby the first bus from Albion and Rose Hill leaves at 5:45 in the morning, while the last bus from Albion and Rose Hill leaves at 17:04 and 1900 hours respectively. According to the NLTA, 2 complaints have been filed at its office as at date regarding the lack of buses along Route 45. Moreover, the Honourable Kiran had drawn my attention and my ministry had looked into the matter previously as well. It is highlighted that the NLTA Inspectorate has observed that the UBS buses along Route 45 are operating at interval of 20 to 30 minutes instead of 10 to 20 minutes as set out in the established timetable, hence the hue and cry. Madam Speaker, I wish to point out that despite the fact that fewer trips are being carried out by the buses of the UBS, the latter is being paid the same quantum in respect of the free travel compensation by the NLTA, given that the same is a monthly fixed amount calculated based on 80% of the operator's fleet, and this is not normal. I will explain later in the same reply what I intend to do in 5 steps. With regard to the unsatisfactory level of service along Route 45, Madam Speaker, a meeting was held on 19 February 2025 at the level of the NLTA, while the representatives of the UBS, whereby it was imparted that the main cause entailing irregular bus service thereat was the lack of drivers. I wish to point out that the issue of shortage of crew has been highlighted by most bus operators, and my ministry has already initiated consultations with stakeholders, including with the Ministry of Labour and Industrial Relations, with a view to expediting the recruitment of foreign labour in the transport sector while considering the streamlining of procedures thereof. Moreover, like I mentioned in this House during previous sittings, the problem of poor level of bus service is occurring along several routes along the island, and I listed several mitigating measures, which included, number 1, the introduction of a fleet management system. I had explained in great detail previously what it is all about, but this will take some time. But meanwhile, the memorandum, and this is what I meant earlier, the memorandum of understanding relating the payment of free travel compensation, which was signed between the NLTA and the bus operators in 2005, will be reviewed in the interest of the travelling public, subject to a government approval, such that payment will be will be a trip-based system rather than a daily-based one. So this is what I can do in order to pressurize the bus operators to work harder. Number 3, the road service license of operators not providing services as per the conditions of their licenses will be revoked, and Section 77B of the Road Traffic Act will be used to have new players. Number 4, the inspectorate of the NLTA, which is currently devoid of such officers, will be strengthened with management support officers, pending a substantive recruitment exercise of inspectors to ensure that the higher NLTA presence along bus routes to help out. Number 5, consultations are ongoing with bus operators to acquire new buses and avail of the incentive provided under the bus modernization program. Meanwhile, Madam Speaker, I have urged the NLTA Inspectorate to ensure close monitoring of the operation of the UBS buses along Route 45.
Thank you, Minister.
Oui.
Yes.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. L'honorable ministre est parfaitement au courant de la situation. Et d'après les informations qui me sont parvenues, et l'honorable ministre, dans sa réponse, en a fait état, les compagnies qui desservent cette route ne sont pas en mesure de respecter les horaires, ce qui fait que cela cause pas mal de problèmes pour les étudiants le matin, pour ceux qui vont au travail aussi. Donc, je peux comprendre que l'honorable ministre, quelque part, il est coincé, il n'a pas toutes les solutions à ce jour. Mais dans l'immédiat, comment faire, Madame la Présidente, pour donner satisfaction, pour éviter que cette situation continue à dégénérer? Est-ce que l'honorable ministre pourrait, dans un premier temps, nous dire quelles sont les mesures correctives immédiates qui pourraient être prises?
Yes, Minister.
Yes. Like I said in my reply, Madam Speaker, as an interim measure, pending the arrival of the fleet management system, which will put good order in the House, I'm asking the Ministry and the NLTA to review the Memorandum of Understanding that is a de facto payment on a daily basis. This is not normal. So if we have them paid on a trip basis, they will have to work.
Et l'honorable ministre est-il disposé à considérer, je vais lui partager cette proposition des usagers, qui suggèrent que le terminus pour les bus d'Albion-Rosil et Rosil-Albion se fasse à la gare de la place Margéo au lieu de la place d'Arrêt Salam à Rosil, cela afin de faciliter, j'espère que l'honorable ministre me comprend, cela afin de faciliter la mobilité des personnes du troisième âge et des usagers en général, et aussi de considérer la possibilité, Madame la Présidente, d'une ligne directe Beaubassin-Albion et vice-versa, car les habitants rencontrent trop de problèmes par rapport aux connexions.
Yes. As regards the first part, the change of location of in the interest of the senior citizens, I can certainly look into. As regards the second proposition, depending on the availability of buses, and I just mentioned, the big challenge is having drivers, which is a rare competence now, seemingly. So I will definitely look into and discuss with the member.
Thank you, Minister. C'est bon? Thank you. Now we have the honourable second member for Vieux-Grand-Port and Rosebel. Yes?
Madam Speaker, is question B/94, please.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the District Council of Grand Port that a budgetary request of 16 million rupees was submitted for the financial year 2024-2025 to provide lighting facilities for the football pitch in the villages of Grand Sab, Bambou, Bambou-Veilleux, Bois des Amouettes, and Rivière des Créoles. The estimated cost for each football ground is 4 million rupees. However, the necessary funds were not allocated by the previous government to implement this project. Additionally, I have been advised that the District Council of Grand Port is currently formulating its project proposals for the upcoming financial year. The installation of lighting facilities for these football pitches will be duly considered as part of the budgetary planning for the 25-26 financial year.
Thank you. Yes?
Madam the Speaker, being given that we have inherited huge social degradation problem, in particular the rising drug problem in these areas from the previous government, would the Honourable Minister consider implementing the lighting facilities project to these football pitches and promote evening sports facilities to combat the drug problem, perhaps consider same in the forthcoming budget?
Madam Speaker, it is indeed regrettable that despite a request from the District Council of Grand Port for 16 million rupees in the last year budget to provide lighting facilities for these football pitches, the previous government did not consider it on a priority and failed to allocate the necessary funds. But this government recognized the importance of sport facilities infrastructure for community development and sport engagement. I can assure the Honourable Member, that the District Council of Grand Port is actively working on its project proposal for year 2025 and 26 financial year. And the installation of lighting facilities on these football pitches will be given serious consideration during the upcoming budget discussion.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Your next question.
Thank you. Yes, Madam Speaker. Question B/95, please.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the Dr. James Bertie David Market Fair in Roseville was built and started operating in 2010. It includes 1,067 stalls and has about 490 parking space over an area of 9,490 square meters. Over the years, the number of people visiting the market has increased due to the growth of the surrounding population. As a result, parking has become a major issue. Many visitors struggle to find parking space and are forced to park along nearby roads, causing traffic congestion and serious safety risk. Additionally, crowded parking areas and blocked access routes make it difficult for vendors to operate properly, leading to lower sales and frustration among customers. Madam Speaker, to tackle this issue, I have instructed the Chief Executive of the District Council of Grand Port to take urgent measures to improve this situation. I will personally monitor the progress and conduct surprise visits to ensure action is being taken. Regarding parking solution, I wish to inform the House that we are planning to build additional parking facilities near the new food court with an estimated cost of 12 million rupees, and this project will be included in the next budget for consideration. Recently, 70 additional parking spaces were created by the District Council of Grand Port, but this is clearly not enough to solve the problem. Madam Speaker, the previous government did absolutely nothing to address this parking crisis, despite repeated complaints from the public. They ignored the problem for years, leaving market visitors and vendors to suffer. On 21st of January 2025, I personally visited the Dr. James Bertie David Market Fair, accompanied by my junior ministers and MPs of the constituency. What I found was shocking, Madam Speaker. Not only was parking a major issue, but the entire market was in poor state due to the neglect by the previous administration. The problem includes poor maintenance of the market yard, delays in removing waste, leading to unhygienic conditions of the market days, dirty and unsanitary conditions in the poultry and meat section, no fire extinguishers, and no valid fire certificate, creating a serious fire hazard, pigeon droppings on stalls, making the environment unhealthy, exposed electrical cable, posing a major safety risk, narrow walkways, making it difficult for people to move around, especially in an emergency, filthy public toilets with no proper cleaning, report of illegal vendors coming from all over the islands to sell goods on parking and embarking areas without any control, thus causing obstruction and harming legal traders. Madam Speaker, the previous government turned a blind eye to these problems. They had the responsibility to take action, but they failed completely. Now, under this administration, we are taking firm and urgent steps to fix these long-standing issues, and I will personally ensure that the necessary improvements are made, and I will not allow this market to continue suffering from the past neglect.
Madam Speaker, now that the Honourable Minister mentioned that the construction of additional parking near the food court at an estimated cost of 12 million rupees, can he confirm when this project will begin and when it is expected to be completed? And also what measures will be taken to prevent illegal parking on adjacent roads and ensure proper management around the market area?
Madam Speaker, In fact, this project could have been planned long ago. But unfortunately, the previous government failed, I just said, failed to recognize the growing needs for additional parking space. They lacked vision and did not allocate funds properly. However, this government, we are ensuring that parking expansion is included in the next budget, and as soon as funds are allocated, work will begin without further delay. And no structures plan was put in place to regulate vehicle flow. So we are now working on the relevant authorities to introduce designated parking zone, proper signage, and traffic enforcement to address this issue.
Yeah, I can't tell you more. Yes. The Honourable Second Member for Maïbourg and Plaine Magnon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B96.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Now, Madam Speaker, I want to inform the House that the Barachois found next to the fisheries post in Mayberg is known as Barachois PG Rivière La Chaux, or Barachois La Chaux, and was vested to the Ministry on the 19th April 1961. In 2018, part of the Barachois PG Rivière La Chaux, of an extent of 2 acres out of 83 acres, was allocated by the Ministry to a company, namely One to Go Enterprise Limited, having as director Mr. Krishna Datu, an address Temple Toulé Street, Bovalu, for undertaking mud crab culture as per a set of conditions. Thus, the Barachois was allocated to the promoter and not leased to One to Go Enterprise. Now, there's been undue delay in the implementation of the project, and the matter is being fully investigated.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for your answer. As the Minister is aware that the said site is in front of Maïbourg Fisheries Post, will the Minister take action for all these illegal damage carried out by the promoters, such as backfilling, cutting of mangroves, and especially closing access for fishermen, which was tolerated by the previous government?
Yeah, I thank my honourable friend for conveying the information to us, and he can rest assured relevant action is being taken, corrective measures being taken, the matter is being addressed in a very forceful and meaningful manner. Be told that even erected a fence to deny access to fishermen to go on the fishing expedition. Okay? Now, he has acted contrary to the spirit and the letter of the law, and the matter will be dealt with accordingly.
Thank you. Yes. The Honourable First Member for Rodrigues.
B97.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part A of the question, I wish to inform the House that the policy and legislative framework formulated for the Republic of Mauritius applicable to Mauritius, Rodrigues, and the outer islands. Rodrigues has an autonomous status since October 2001, with its own regional assembly and executive council for the framing and implementation of its socio-economic policies. However, Rodrigues is taken on board in all key strategic policy measures pertaining to environment and sustainable development for the Republic of Mauritius. My ministry is thus responsible to oversee effective environmental management across sectors and bears primary responsibility for environmental protection, planning, monitoring, coordination, and awareness raising. To this end, a series of strategies and action plans have been developed in line with the Environment Protection Act of 2004 to help achieve these goals, including the Environment Master Plan 2020-2030, the Roadmap and Action Plan for Circular Economy 2023, the Climate Change Act 2020, the Nationally Determined Contribution 2021, and the Action Plan 2022. Madam Speaker, I wish to highlight that the Environment Act 2024 has been enacted to safeguard the country's environmental assets and promote sustainable development across the Republic of Mauritius. The holistic integration of environment into key sectors supporting Mauritius' sustainable development agenda is paramount to achieving our sustainability goals. Section 10 of the Environment Act 2024 makes provision for the formulation of a national policy, strategy and action plan on sustainable development, in line with international obligations. The plan should position sustainable consumption and production as a means to achieve sustainable development. Provision is also made for the strategy and action plan to be reviewed every 5 years or at such over time as may be determined. Madam Speaker, moreover, in view of the inherent impacts of climate change, the Climate Change Act 2020 makes provision for the establishment of a legal framework for Mauritius to become a climate change resilient and low emission country. The Act also contributes to sustainable development in road rigs, as specific provisions have been made for road rigs under Part 6 therein. Section 20 and 21 of the Act makes provision for the Commissioner responsible for the subject of environment in road rigs to be responsible for the formulation of a climate change adaptation strategy and action plan and a climate change mitigation strategy and action plan for road rigs. As chairperson of the Road Rigs Climate Change Committee, the Commissioner responsible for the subject of environment is also responsible to ensure that climate change measures, including greenhouse gas emission reduction, climate change risk, and vulnerability assessment and adaptation to climate change are effectively and efficiently implemented and monitored in road rigs. Madam Speaker, with regard to B of the question, I'm tabling a list of the different initiatives which are being implemented for the Republic of Mauritius, including road rigs.
Yes, all right. The Honourable Third Member for Maibou Plaine Magnon.
Madam Speaker, B98, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that there are 5 ambulances which have been put at the disposal of Migrant Hospital as follows. 3 ambulances with stretchers, out of which 2 ambulances are operational on a 24/7 basis and used to convey patients in lying position. These include dialysis patients, patients requiring immediate transfer to Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital for admission, patients on appointment at outpatient department at Victoria Hospital, SSRN Hospital, Mocha Hospital, G2 Hospital, National Cancer Center, and Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital, and for discharge of patients. The other 1 ambulance which stretcher operates from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon and is used for conveying or lying patients for physiotherapy and dressing. Moreover, 1 ambulance with stretcher is operational on a 24/7 basis at the airport medical post. There is also a 15-seater van which is operational from 8 in the morning till 10 at night and is used for convenience of dialysis patients to Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital. I'm further informed that Mayberg Hospital, being a district hospital, receives support from Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital for emergencies requiring SAMI services. There are 2 SAMI ambulances posted at Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital, and 1 is operational on a 24/7 basis, while the other 1 operates from 8 hours to 16 hours. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part A2 of the question, I'm informed that out of the 5 ambulances posted at Mayberg Hospital, only the 1 which is on standby at the airport hospital and the 15-seater van are in good condition, while the other ambulances need replacement due to frequent breakdowns. However, all the ambulances are equipped with oxygen cylinders and a first aid box to help in basic emergencies. Moreover, drivers and attendants servicing ambulances have all received training in first aid. Madam Speaker, concerning Part B of the question, my ministry has prepared a replacement plan for our fleet of vehicles, with priority of consideration being given to replacement of medical vehicles in the first instance. As such, my ministry will be procuring in this financial year 10 medical vehicles, including 1 SAMU ambulance, 5 ambulances, and 4 15-seater vans, which would be distributed among the different health regions for the smooth convenience of our patients.
Thank you. Yes, the Honourable Second Member for Belrose-Catrebord.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. B99.
Madam Speaker, I have been informed that the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Service, MFRS, started working on the relocation of the Catbourne Fire Station approximately 6 years ago. Despite this, the project has not yet started. It is concerning that in the financial year 2022-2023 and 2023-2024, a total sum of 9 million rupees was allocated for the project. However, due to the previous government's mismanagement, these funds were not used and the project did not progress. For the financial year 2024-2025, only 500,000 rupees has been allocated for this project. Madam Speaker, a 7,569 meter square plot of land along Tulip Avenue, Catbourne, was acquired and officially transferred to the MRRF on 1st October 2019 for the construction of the new fire station. It is also important to highlight that the government currently pays 100,000 rupees annually to the Municipal Council of Catbourne for renting the existing fire station premises. Additionally, the MFRS headquarters located at La Bourdonnais Street, Port Louis, cost the government 13,386,000 rupees per year, including of VAT. Madam Speaker, this government is committed to ensuring that this project is completed as soon as possible. The new fire station project includes not only a fire station, but also the new MFRS headquarters, a special operation division, a main control room, and a fire safety division. My ministry is closely monitoring this matter. I can inform the House that the preliminary drawings for the new fire station and headquarters are currently being prepared by the Ministry of National Infrastructure. These drawings should be completed by mid-March 2025. Once the MFRS approves the plans, a cost estimate will be finalized before seeking financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance.
Yes. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Je remercie également le ministre pour la délocalisation de la caserne des pompiers de Catrebord, une initiative essentielle pour garantir la sécurité des habitants. Can the minister provide a clear timeline for when the construction of a new fire station is expected to begin and to be completed? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, the failure of the previous government to follow up on the project has caused significant delays. During a cluster meeting on 17 February 2025, chaired by the Director of Architect, the MFRS raised concerns about the delays in this project and emphasized the need for urgent action. At the Project Steering Committee meeting on 6 February 2025, chaired by the Permanent Secretary of my ministry, the Deputy Director of the Ministry of National Infrastructure, MNI, confirmed that updated preliminary drawings would be ready by the end of February 2025. However, the MNI has now stated that they will be submitted by mid-March 2025. Madam Speaker, this project is a priority for this government. Despite the delay under the previous administration, we are committed to seeing it through. With the completion of the preliminary plans by mid of March 2025 and the necessary financial approvals, we will ensure that the new Catbourne Fire Station and MRRF headquarters are built as soon as possible.
The Honourable Third Member for Rodrigues.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B100.
Madam Speaker, Mr. Joseph Varuk Ravina, Commissioner for Youth and Sports in Rodrigues, accompanied by his officials, paid a courtesy call on me on 20th February 2025. He expressed his concern on the disastrous effect of synthetic drugs, which has found its way in Rodrigues. During the discussion, the latter stressed on the urgent need to protect the youth and I sought the help of my ministry in this endeavor. Regarding sports, Mr. Ravina mentioned the revival of the Jeux de Rodrigues. He has expressed the wish for the support of my ministry in this project. He has also pledged for more consideration towards Rodriguez athletes, especially in the composition of national teams. Moreover, the Commissioner has submitted proposal for the drafting of the new Sport Act. Madam Speaker, my ministry will give due consideration to the request of the Commissioner. The vision of the government has been shared with the Commissioner of Youth and Sports, and he was also reassured of the inclination of my ministry to search for youth and sport talents wherever they are, including Rodrigues.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Is the Minister aware that there has been cases during which national sports competition occurring in Mauritius had no participants from Rodrigues due to unavailability of funds to cater for flights and accommodation of participants? Will the Honorable Minister consider measures through his ministry that can help the RRA for a systematic funding of participants, qualified sportspersons from Rodrigues, to participate in high-level competition in all sports disciplines? As many are aware, Rodrigues has many qualified sportspersons who has brought national pride to the Republic.
Madam Speaker, my ministry will provide technical assistance for all games. However, in respect of funds, same are provided by the central government to the Rodrigues Regional Assembly for various sectors as listed in the 4th schedule of the Rodrigues Regional Assembly Act. The 4th schedule lists youth and sport as one of the areas of responsibility to be exercised by the Rodrigues Regional Assembly.
Thank you. Yes.
Madam Speaker, with due respect to the autonomy, may I ask the Honourable Minister whether discussion was also held with regards to the creation of a decentralized Comité Régional Olympique et Sportif Rodriguez, representing all regional committees in Rodrigues?
There was not such a discussion.
Il abuse, hein? Bon, allez, the Honourable Second Member for Quartier Militaire Moka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B101, please.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the second member for Quartier Militaire and Moka for this question. I wish to inform the House that the registration of managers for these schools is governed by sections 11A, 12, and 13 of the Education Act, as amended by Act number 12 of 2023. These provisions establish the eligibility criteria and registration requirements for managers, including conditions under which registration may be refused. In line with these regulations, all managers should apply for registration and renewal annually. Circular Letter number 41 of 2023, issued by the Private Secondary Education Authority to inform managers of these requirements, and applications were to be submitted by 30th November 2023. As at date, the registration status is as follows for the 108 schools, private granted aided secondary schools. 1, managers have been registered for 91 schools. 2, applications for registration of managers for 13 schools are in process. And 3, no application for registration of manager has been received for 4 schools. On 16 December 2024, after changement, the authority has sought the approval of my ministry for the registration of a few managers in respect of whose applications pertain to 1. Those aged 70 and above. 2. Schools for which no application for registration of manager had been received. And 3. A secondary school, boys, girls, in the eastern region. I'm not naming it. I am informed that the no objection of my ministry has been conveyed thereto. As regards part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that the post of assistant manager does not exist under the Education Act and the Private Secondary Education Act, and schools are under the responsibility of a manager. Thank you.
Yes. The Honourable Fourth Member for Portrush North and Montaillon. Honourable Duval.
Yes, sir. B102.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that for the period 1st November 2024 to 28 February 2025, 190 contraventions have been established with regard to loud noises emanating from modified motorcycle exhaust, loud music from vehicles, from premises and public beaches in breach of 1. Regulation 852, 853 of the road traffic, construction and use of vehicles. Regulation 2010 concerning exhaust silencer system not in good and efficient working order, and alteration of silencer respectively. Regulation 84.3 for using et non seulement en informant la police de l'environnement, au niveau des stations de police, et de venir dénoncer. We are in Parliament, we need people to go into the police station, dénoncer, donner les plaques de numéro, d'immatriculation, et je suis sûr que le nouveau commissaire de police, qui unlike his predecessor, was using the striking team for the things, so the commissioner of police is also working, we are working with the new commissioner of police to find ways and means, at least to better perform, I can say, within the parameters of the law.
Yes.
It's regrettable that for now the situation has not improved. In fact, these utilizers of motorcycles, those also who go on the public beach, the users, are, like I said, known. But there is a laissez-aller on the part of the police as well, because they know these people and they do not stop them. So why I say a task force, I think it's time, I would suggest that the Honourable Minister sees with the Prime Minister that we use special units to crack down, stop and force these regulations, because local police stations...
I can't hear him. You have the floor.
Madam Speaker, you need to... I mean, how long are we going to go with this? This guy has been shouting at every turn.
I don't appreciate all this going on at all. Honourable Jaman, let him speak. Then you can stand up and speak if you want. Okay? You finish your sentence.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is, local police...
It's a very simple problem.
Local police seems powerless today.
Question
is whether he will look, because with his 33 police officers, it's not nearly enough to enforce. So whether he will look at utilizing other units of the police to make sure that there are crackdowns all over the island.
We got your message. Will you do that, please,
Madame la
Minister?
Présidente, il n'y a plus de laisser-aller. Le laisser-aller, c'est dans le passé, lorsqu'il était dans le gouvernement. Il n'y a plus de laisser-aller. Maintenant, le nouveau commissaire de police, la police de l'environnement, y compris moi-même et le juge, sont en train d'agir.
Les policiers
il n'y a plus de laisser-aller, madame. Peut-être à son époque, lorsqu'il était au gouvernement, c'était laisser-aller.
C'était comme ça. Not too much, not too much. Okay, where am I? Now I have Honourable Third Member for my group, Magnan, Mr. Lakiram. Yes.
Madam Speaker, B103, please.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the National Land Transport Authority that there is a regular bus service along routes 10A, 137 and 99. 3 routes, so I will go through one by one for the sake of clarity. In fact, there are currently 21 buses of individual operators and 2 from the United Bus Service which operate along Route 10A, l'Escalier Plain-Blois to Cupid, at intervals of 20 to 30 minutes, at 20 and 30 minutes during peak and off-peak hours, respectively. The first bus leaves La Soujin at 5 o'clock in the morning and Cupid at 6 o'clock in the morning, while the last trip from La Soujin and Yang Palak is at 1820 hours and 1900 hours, respectively. Furthermore, 9 trips are performed both in the morning and in afternoon in respect of school services. However, I am informed that this route has been subject to repeated complaints from commuters in relation to shortage of buses during school times, coupled with some bus operators not adhering to established timeline. However, I am, as confirmed by the NLTA, with the integration of 2 temporary licenses allocated to Lone Star Company Limited and Muspet Company Limited to operate along routes 10A since 21 February 2024 and 13 August 2024, respectively, the service has reasonably been improved. So this solution is supposed to be working, seemingly, according to the NLTA, unless you differ. Now, as regards Route 137, Carreau Acacia to Cupid via Rosebell and Carreau Enouf. 9 buses, that is 3 belonging to the NTC, and 6 from individual operators are licensed to operate thereat. However, it is worth noting that 4 buses belonging to individual operators have ceased operations since October 2028, January 2023, November 2023, and January 2025, respectively, for various reasons, including sale of these buses and non-replacement of the same buses. The 3 buses of the National Transport Company have started operation along that route since May 2021. Moreover, arrangements are ongoing for an additional bus of the NTC to provide its service along the said route. As regards the bus which is off-road, since 2018, my ministry has requested the NLTA to consider the license of the said bus as being lapsed and initiate prompt actions for the licensing of another bus accordingly. Additionally, the NLTA has been urged to convene the bus operators whose buses are off-road since 2023 to press upon them for the replacement thereof. I believe this will provide relief given time, hopefully. Coming to Route 99, Carreau Acacia to Mayberg, Madam Speaker, I am informed that there are presently 3 buses of individual operators which are licensed to operate on the said route at intervals of 30 and 45 minutes during peak and off-peak times respectively. These buses have to operate from 6 o'clock in the morning up to 6 o'clock in the evening. Given that there have been numerous complaints due to only 2 buses operating along this route, an additional license has been granted to 1 operator on a temporary basis since January 2024 to improve service. I hope this is the case. Now, in view of the repeated complaints received on poor level of public bus services along many routes, my ministry is working on several remedial actions, which I had elaborated earlier on in PQ B93 and our sitting of Tuesday, 4 February 2025, in reply to PQ B22. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Yes?
Thank you, Madame Speaker. Comme vous savez tous, le plus gros problème sur cette ligne, comme vous avez mentionné, il y a beaucoup de permis individuels, mais malheureusement, ces propriétaires de bus, des fois, ils font exprès pour ne pas travailler parce qu'ils disent que ce n'est pas rentable. Est-ce que le ministre peut considérer sur cette route-là de voir avec le National Transport Authority pour donner un bon service ou même mener une enquête pour savoir pourquoi les bus individuels refusent de travailler pour manque de revenus? Merci.
Yes. The problems are multi-pronged, actually, I explained before. One is not enough people traveling the buses because now everybody have motorcycles and motorbikes. So buses used to be power packed full once upon a time. This is no longer the case, and this is a big challenge. Unfortunately, their timetable are not adjusted accordingly. So we have to rework on this. And then the other challenge that is being faced by bus operators are the availability of competent drivers. So these are the 2 issues we are facing island-wide, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Yes, Honourable Second Member for Belrose-Quatre-Bornes.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. B104.
Madam Speaker, let me at the outset thank the Honourable Member for putting this question, at which will give me an opportunity to enlighten the House on the way my predecessor was at the material time in notary was functioning as a minister. Madam Speaker, the issue of an application for an EI license by Square Deal Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited was first raised in this House on 12 June 2024 in a private participation of the then leader of opposition, Honourable Arvin Boulet, and was replied, you will know by whom, then Attorney General, Mr. Gobin. Madam Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, Square Deal Multipurpose Cooperative Society made an application for an EI license with regard to a proposed residential commercial morcellement at Queen Victoria to my ministry on 8th May 2024. And informed that the documents submitted were not in order, given that the notary certificate contains a seal of Etude Metkavidas Ramanu, Notary Public, and was not signed by a Notary Public in accordance with Section 18(1)(c)(4 of the Environment Protection Act 2002, but by an unidentified person. On 21st May 2024, the proponent and his consultant were requested to submit a new notary certificate. And you will believe it, Madam Speaker, within 24 hours, that is on the 22nd May 2024, a new certificate was signed by whom? Notary Public, by a Notary Public was submitted to the Ministry. The submission of the first document, which was not signed by a Notary Public, and the rapidity with which the new notary certificate was produced to my Ministry is a clear indication that there was collusion between the then Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management, Climate Change, and his notarial office, which was at all material time not only functioning but trading. Madam Speaker, I am duty-bound to inform the House that the then Attorney General, in reply to private notice concerned to the then Leader of Opposition, Honorable Ravin Boulel, did mislead the House on several aspects of the EIA application and was thus party to a cover-up operation to protect his colleague, Mr. Kavidas Ramanu. Madam Speaker, with regard to the case of the EIA application made by Square Deal Multipurpose Cooperative Limited, my Ministry is conducting an internal audit to find out as to whether there have been other cases of collusion between the then Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change and his notarial office. It is clear that there are reasonable grounds to refer the matter to the Financial Crime Commission to elucidate as to whether Mr. Kavidas Ramanu has acted in breach of the existing legislation in respect of conflict of interest and public official using his office for gratification and traffic deference.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente, pour vous dire je suis scandalisée. Je suis scandalisée, révoltée par la réponse de l'honorable ministre Bagwan. Nous sommes face à une affaire d'une gravité absolue. Je note que le ministre prévoit de renvoyer ce dossier à la FCC pour d'éventuelles infractions pénales. Puis-je, Madame la Présidente, puis-je demander à l'honorable ministre s'il compte également saisir la Chambre des notaires afin qu'une enquête approfondie soit menée sur le notaire R pour déterminer s'il a violé le code de déontologie et si tel est le cas, si des sanctions doivent être prises sous le Law Practitioners Act. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Madam Speaker, definitely we'll do everything to elucidate where there have been traffic accidents, what we all know, and not only la Chambre des notaires, but all those qui se sont impliqués dans ce scandale.
Honourable third member for Maibou Plaine Magnon, Mr. Lepiram.
Yes, Madam Speaker, B105, please.
Madam Speaker, I am informed that a request for financial clearance has been submitted by the City Council of Grand Port on 29 August 2024, amounting to 5.1 million rupees for the construction of a stall and also to undertake lighting works at the Maber Market. Moreover, the then Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Development did not accede to that request, and instead the Council was informed that it should consider using the existing metal stall in the upgrading market and to meet expenses amounting to 2.1 million rupees pertaining to lighting works from within its current budget. Madam Speaker, I wish to highlight that the previous Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Development did not consider it important and useful to provide the necessary funding to all the local authorities, including the District Council of Grand Port, with respect to maintenance of their amenities. The outgoing government invested 12 million rupees in the upgrading of external structure of the Mabel market and did not consider it necessary to provide an additional sum of 5 million rupees to construct the new stalls and do some lighting works. The new market was also inaugurated in toute vitesse without any new stalls, lighting and fire certificate, just before the last general election by the former Minister of National Infrastructure and Community Development. Madam Speaker, I wish to highlight that I effected a site visit on the Mabel market on 21st January 2025, whereby I asked the representative of the District Council of Grand Port to adhere to all fire safety norms as well as to expedite matters for the obtention of a fire certificate, and to conduct a proper survey and submit a detailed breakdown of all the works that need to be carried out at the said market, including associated costs, following which my ministry would seek additional funds from the Ministry of Finance to complete the project. Moreover, I have laid emphasis on the fact that this project will have to be completed at the earliest possible, as it is long overdue.
Yes. Yes.
Merci, Madame Speaker, et merci de l'honorable ministre. Et concernant la deuxième partie du marché qui a été rénovée, comme vous avez si bien dans votre réponse, ils ont fait une inauguration avec la télévision, tout ça, mais malheureusement, le lendemain, c'est fermé parce que ce n'est pas complété à 100%. Peut le ministre voir avec la District Council pour débloquer la situation, laisser les maraîchers commencer à travailler avec leur propre table, parce que le seul issue qui n'est pas encore fait, c'est les tables. Donc, et ça cause un gros problème pour le marché de Maïbou. Si le ministre peut voir assez rapidement de laisser travailler les maraîchers de Maïbou. Merci.
Madam Speaker, as I just said, the new market does not have a fire certificate. So by the time you adhere with the fire certificate, and at the same time we put on new stalls, and where the vendors can sell their commodities in a safe and clean manner.
Thank you. Honourable First Member for Port Louis North.
Merci, Madame B106, s'il vous plaît.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the First Member for Port Louis North and Montagnong for this question. With regard to complaints made by private grant-aided secondary schools against the authority, the main concerns raised by managers relate to various operational and financial matters. In recent times, the key issues brought forward include the need to review the comprehensive grant formula, shortage of educators in private secondary schools, the status of a secondary school, boys and girls, located in the eastern region, and complaints against another college. The last review of the comprehensive grant formula was conducted in September 2023 for the 2024-2026 period. 2 legal cases were filed against the private secondary education authority concerning the comprehensive grant formula. One challenging the 2020-2023 formula, which was overturned by the Supreme Court, and another against the 2024-2026 formula, which is still under review. An application for conditional leave to appeal to the Supreme Court's judgment of 25th July 2024 to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council made on 19th August 2024. The Supreme Court granted leave on 4th February 2025, but on 18th February 2025, the appeal was withdrawn at the request of the applicant's counsel. Madam Speaker, with a view to addressing concerns regarding the comprehensive grant formula, government has approved the introduction of a new formula for the period 2025-2027. When I say government, it is this government. the present government. A technical working group chaired by the senior chief executive of my ministry and including key stakeholders has been set up to, first, review the grant formula, second, address any shortcomings in validation and disbursement, and third, make recommendations. A first meeting was held on 17th January 2025. Pending this review, the Private Education Secondary Authority has disbursed grants on an interim basis to facilitate the running and upkeep of the private secondary schools. Regarding the shortage of educators in private secondary schools, managers have raised concerns following the implementation of the Education Amendment Number 4 Regulations 2023. This is the legacy we have from the previous government. All right, they messed up with everything, and we are trying to sort out things now, which introduced new qualification requirements for educators, including the requirement to hold a degree in the subject to be taught and a post-certificate in education, PGC, postgraduate certificate in education. This amendment led to a shortage of educators in 2024 in private secondary schools, as many potential candidates did not meet these stringent criteria, though they were graduates, some of University of Mauritius. In response to these concerns, the Education Amendment Regulations 2025 have been introduced, whereby the requirement for a PGC prior to recruitment have been waived. Furthermore, educators will no longer be required to hold a degree in the subject to be taught, but rather a degree related to the subject to be taught. However, they will be encouraged to have their PGC within a reasonable time frame after being recruited. As regards to a school found in the Eastern region, a case has been lodged before the Supreme Court by Mr. V.C.J. in his capacity as trustee against the authority. The case seeks, among others, the disbursement of grants to the schools and the appointment of new managers in compliance with instructions from the trustee. Legal advice is presently being sought on these matters. Madam Speaker, I also wish to inform the House that my ministry remains committed to addressing concerns raised by stakeholders in the private secondary education sector and ensuring that all matters are handled in a fair and transparent manner. This is Chancellor. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Madame Speaker. Je remercie l'honorable ministre pour sa réponse. Il y a eu ce cas d'un collège dans l'Est, Monsieur le ministre, contre lequel le psy réclame une enquête pour divers abus. Par exemple, les parents doivent payer 2600 roupies, je cite bien, pour la PTA. Sinon, leurs enfants n'auront pas accès au manuel scolaire distribué gratuitement par le gouvernement aux salles d'examen, en sus de d'autres mal-donnes. L'honorable ministre peut-il demander à ses officiers d'enquêter sur ces abus afin de mettre fin à de telles pratiques? Je cite, à noter que ce collège précis reçoit une compensation du gouvernement 350 000 roupies mensuellement et pour les dépenses administratives et pour la maintenance de l'école, sachant qu'annuellement, ils reçoivent 140 millions de roupies. Merci.
Madam Speaker, I would reassure the honourable member that we, being proactive, we did not wait for the PQ in order to initiate, in order to create an independent committee which is reviewing the mechanism in which this secondary school, which we are not naming, neither you nor me, is managing funds. Rest assured, everything is being done in all transparency, and accountability is definitely at the top of the agenda. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Speaker. Is the Minister aware that last year, it was during the month of August and September that a massive recruitment was done by the government, ex-government. So do we have, this created a great problem within private secondary schools? What are some of the measures that the Minister can propose so that in this coming year, we don't face the same problem? Thank you.
Minister?
This is something which is ongoing. I understand the sector, just like the honourable member. What happens very often, educators who work in private secondary schools, once PSC advertise for posts in state secondary schools, there is this influx. They move from private, they go to PSC, to state secondary schools, creating a void there in private secondary schools. So that is why we have waived that PGC thing, and we have enlarged this spectrum of recruitment for educators. That is why the subject to be taught, they need a degree related to that subject. And this is going to ease the situation. And fortunately, the public is aware that this year, we didn't have shortage of staff, thankfully, thanks to this government.
Okay. Yes. Ms. Colette, the Honourable First Member for Audrey.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B107.
Madam Speaker, I am informed that the number of infant mortality for mainland Mauritius stands at 165, 157, and 173 for the year 2022, 2023, and 2024, respectively, while for the island of Rodrigues, it stands at 7, 11, and 11, respectively, for the same period. With regard to the second part of the question for child welfare, for the financial year 2024-2025, a total sum of around 19,500,000 rupees has been earmarked.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Seaburn.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is question B/108, please.
Madam Speaker, I thank Honourable Second Member for Vieux-Grand-Port and Rosbel. An interesting problem has been raised, and this also links up to the question that was asked around 2 weeks back with regards to the network coverage. You see, this is the legacy, Madam Speaker, of the previous government, and we've seen the digital divide increasing. So the concept of e-inclusion was set onto a secondary plane. I am informed by Mauritius Telecom, Madam Speaker, that it has several telecommunication towers in that region, namely at Vieux-Grand-Port, Anse-Joncé, Bambou-Vieux, Grand Sable, and Pointe-du-Diable. However, due to the winding roads and elevation of the terrain, that is the topology of that region, as well as the natural features of that space, these towers do not provide adequate coverage thereat. Mauritius Telecom has envisaged the deployment of additional towers in the region and has accordingly initiated site search exercises in view of securing new locations. These exercises were, nevertheless, not successful since most of the land identified are state-owned and have already been allocated to particulars. Madam Speaker, my ministry will, in collaboration with the Ministry of Housing and Lands, provide the necessary support to Mauritius Telecom Limited in finding an appropriate site for the setting up of an antenna to enhance telecommunications coverage in the region. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, would the Honourable Minister also consider urging the other network providers, such as MTEL and MTML, in particular, to equally improve their current services so as to have better mobile network coverage in these areas?
Sure. Madam Speaker, the other providers are obviously private companies, and as far as they are in compliance with the provisions of the ICT authority, we are satisfied with their service. However, given the issue with the coverage, we will extend the same collaborative approach to all the operators. I think I should mention as well that Mauritius Telecom does carry out proactive tests in various regions. So I would also encourage other members who do find those challenges to identify and to let us know so that we can enhance the coverage and we can also include we can extend e-inclusion and close the digital divide. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes. The Honourable Second Member for Rodrigue.
Thank you. B109.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that presently senior specialists are posted to Rodrigue on a monthly tour of service in the following specialties: anesthesia, general medicine, general surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, orthopedic surgery, pediatrics, radiology. In other specialties, the duration of the tour of service varies depending on the demands from Rodrigue in terms of the number of patients awaiting specialist services. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed that in addition to the monthly visit, senior specialists in the following fields are sent on short visits to Rodrigue at the following frequency: cardiology 8 times yearly, ENT, ophthalmology 6 times yearly, oncology 5 times yearly, gastroenterology, orthodontics, nephrology, physical medicines 4 times yearly, dermatology, neurosurgery, oncology, oral surgery, plastic surgery 2 times yearly, and gastroenterology once yearly. Madam Speaker, I'm further informed that since January 2024 to date, in addition to the short visits, a total of 90 monthly tours of service to Rodrigue have been effected in the fields of anesthesia, general medicine, general surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, orthopedic surgery, pediatrics and radiology. Madam Speaker, sir, I have taken note that in certain fields like dermatology, neurosurgery, oncology, oral surgery, plastic surgery and gastroenterology, the frequency of short visits is inadequate. I wish to assure the House that the frequency of these short visits will be revisited.
Yes. Okay, the Honourable Second Member for Quartier Militaire Boka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B110, please.
Madam Speaker, my ministry has already initiated the necessary actions to review the current procedures of the Child Development Unit, the CDU. A contract for consultancy services for a reform in child services was awarded to the University of Technology Mauritius in December last year. This initiative aims to undertake a comprehensive reform of child services. The objective of the consultancy services is to gain insights into the current structure, policies, procedures, and practices within the CDU, identify gaps, and adopt necessary remedial actions. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed that the consultancy team will submit a final report with recommendations by the end of September 2025. I further wish to inform the House that my ministry organized an Assise de la Femme et de la Famille on December 10th last year, with the collaboration of NGOs and other stakeholders to explore, among other matters, ways and means to enhance our services related to the protection of children in accordance with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, to which Mauritius is a signatory. Madam Speaker, regarding Part B of the question, as far as ongoing professional training is concerned, I understand that we are already providing such training to new and existing employees of the unit. These trainings are conducted by the psychologists of the ministry, ensuring that child trauma cases are handled professionally and in line with the best international practices. I'm further informed that through interactive sessions, case studies, and practical exercises, some 52 officers of the CDU have gained valuable insights into, inter alia, trauma-informed approach, which is a way of working that considers the impact of trauma on people, including children, groups, and communities, among others. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part C of the question, I am informed that during the period 2024-2025, free psychological services have been available for 10 staff members at the CDU to help them overcome any emotional trauma. These psychological services, including psychotherapy and counseling, are provided free of charge upon request.
Yes. Yes, honourable second member for Quartier Militaire. That's okay? Yes. Honourable third member for Grand B and Poudre d'Or. I'm sorry, one moment. I thought you had another question.
Oh, sorry.
I was right.
You were right. Thank you, Madam Speaker. B 111, please.
Madam Speaker, with regard to Part A of the question, the aggregate number of work permits and certificate of exemption, both including renewals in respect of economic sectors and skills categories issued by Ministry is as follows. For May to October 2024, 15,940. May to October 2023, 14,885. May to October 2022, 17,898. May to October 2021, 12,670. May to October 2020, 5,139. May to October 2019, 14,111. Madam Speaker, a breakdown of this information is quite bulky, is being tabled. The bulk of the migrant workers, more than 80%, relate to the manufacturing sector and the construction sector. Madam Speaker, as regards Part B, I am informed by the Passport and Immigration Office that there are currently 2,285 migrant workers illegally overstaying in Mauritius, whose permit has expired. And in addition, there are 2,542 migrant workers who have been reported missing. Madam Speaker, it is a criminal offence under the Non-Citizen Employment Restriction Act for non-citizen to take up employment without a valid work permit, and it is equally an offence for a person to employ a non-citizen without a valid work permit. Both offences are punishable by a fine between 100,000 and 500,000 rupees and a term of imprisonment not exceeding 5 years. Madam Speaker, once a work permit of a non-citizen expires, the employer either has to repatriate the worker or has to renew the work permit and pay the claim. Unfortunately, many enterprises fail to do so, and this explains the number of migrant workers we are overstaying. Non-compliant companies, Madam Speaker, have been given a delay by my ministry to comply with the provisions of the Non-Citizen Employment Restriction Act or to repatriate the worker. And until they do so, my ministry has decided not to entertain any application for recruitment of migrant workers from these companies.
Yes, that's all right. The Honourable third member for Grand B Poudre d'Or, Mr. Etoiria.
Thank you. B112, please. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. I take it for granted that the Honourable Member is referring to the issuance of artisanal fishermen cards. Thank you very much, sir. Now, following the issue of a communiqué dated the 13th of March 2023, inviting potential fishers to apply for a fisherman card, a walk-in exercise was carried out on the 20th and 21st March 2023. Accordingly, 709 fishermen cards were issued in year 2024, out of which 192 were issued in July and 416 in September and 101 in December in relation to an exercise carried out well before October 2024. Madam Speaker, with respect to Part A of the question, the House may note that applicant fishers are eligible for fisher's card as per the following criteria. 1, the applicant fisher shall not be less than 18 years and not more than 50 years old at the time of application. The applicant fisher shall be neither engaged in gainful employment nor be holder of a trade license or any remunerative license. 3. The applicant fisher shall submit a valid certificate of character. Any applicant fisher involved or convicted in drug dealing is eliminated upon confirmation received from the Commissioner of Police. 4th, the applicant fisher shall submit a recommendation letter from the registered fishers in whose boat he is fishing. 5, the applicant fisher shall be medically fit to work at sea as certified by a government medical officer. 6, the applicant fisher shall pass a swimming assessment, which is conducted by the National Coast Guard in presence of fisheries protection officers of the Ministry. Madam Speaker, once all the above criteria are met, the eligible applicant fishers are required to successfully complete a general fisher course conducted by the Ministry so as to qualify for registration as an artisanal fisher. With respect to Part B, Madam Speaker, of the question, in the light of the information circulated, the exercise was flawed as basic procedures were not followed. This called for an in-depth inquiry, following which corrective measures will be taken.
Honourable members, time is now up for question time. I have been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn: B120, B121, B124, B127, B119, B123, B114, B117, and B113.
Motion.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provision of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Thank you.
I say good.
Seconded by Deputy Prime Minister. The question is that all the business on today's paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statement by ministers. None. Public bills, first reading.
Speaker, I beg to move that the Finance and Audit Amendment Bill number 2 of 2025 be moved the first time.
Motion seconded. Yes. Yes, Honourable Attorney General.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Bail Amendment Bill number 3 of 2025 be read the first time.
Motion is seconded by Honourable Minister of Agriculture.
Motion.
Honourable second member for Beaubassin Petite Rivière. Floor is yours.
Madame la Présidente, c'est...
Une petite seconde. Oui. J'ai l'impression qu'il fait beaucoup plus froid, non? Parce que tout le monde tousse là. Maybe somebody will do something about it.
Pas couper mon temps.
Allez-y. Que ça ne vous coupe pas la parole.
OK.
Allez-y.
Pour moi, c'est 10 minutes. Hein. Madame la Présidente, c'est avec émotion que je prends la parole aujourd'hui. Non pas parce que c'est ma première intervention de ce mandat, mais après avoir subi, enduré, dictature, censure, bullying au sein de cette même Assemblée les 5 dernières années durant, c'est une vraie joie et un réel soulagement de pouvoir m'exprimer au sein d'un véritable temple de la démocratie digne de ce nom. Et cela grâce à vous, Madame la Présidente, et à votre adjoint. Et c'est toute la population mauricienne qui aujourd'hui se sent soulagée, libérée et qui respire à nouveau. Madame la Présidente, je profite de cette occasion pour exprimer ma profonde gratitude envers les électeurs de la circonscription numéro 20, Beaubassin Petite Rivière, qui m'ont fait à nouveau confiance. C'est un privilège de pouvoir servir ma circonscription. C'est un privilège de pouvoir servir le peuple mauricien. Je remercie l'honorable Rajesh Bhagwan, figure emblématique de la circonscription numéro 20, qui a été et qui est plus qu'un colistier avec un sens du travail d'équipe hors pair, mais pour moi, un mentor et une figure paternelle. Madame la Présidente, après avoir été au service du pays plus de la moitié de ma vie en tant qu'athlète de haut niveau, je remercie humblement notre Premier ministre, l'honorable Navin Ramgoolam, et notre Premier ministre adjoint, l'honorable Paul Béranger, de m'avoir donné l'opportunité de servir en tant que ministre délégué de la jeunesse et des sports et d'avoir placé leur confiance en la jeunesse et la femme pour faire avancer le pays. Et c'est avec intégrité, humilité et ardeur que je me dévouerai au progrès de la nation mauricienne. Madame la Présidente, j'ai aujourd'hui l'honneur de soutenir le programme gouvernemental qui met l'emphase sur la reconstruction de la démocratie et de la bonne gouvernance et du développement durable, inclusif et responsable. Madame la Présidente, je vais consacrer le temps de parole qui me reste pour parler de la jeunesse. La jeunesse mauricienne, dynamique et innovateur, a toujours été le moteur des transformations sociales et économiques de notre pays. Les jeunes représentent l'avenir du pays. Ce sont eux les bâtisseurs de demain, ce sont eux les décideurs de demain. Cependant, Madame la Présidente, les 10 dernières années, cette jeunesse a été délaissée. Et aujourd'hui, nos jeunes sont confrontés à des défis sans précédent. Un manque de repères, une crise des valeurs, une absence d'opportunités à la hauteur de leurs aspirations. Sous l'Ancien Régime, les jeunes ont eu le sentiment d'être des victimes, de voir leur jeunesse dérobée. Sous l'Ancien Régime, au lieu de bénéficier du développement, les jeunes ont été confrontés à une augmentation des fléaux comme la drogue et la violence. Sous le ciel orange, les efforts investis par les jeunes afin d'obtenir une qualification, les sacrifices des parents investis dans les études de leurs enfants ne servaient à rien, puisque les opportunités allaient uniquement à certains privilégiés et le succès ne dépendait plus du mérite. Des sentiments se sont installés ces dernières années. Un pays où les libertés étaient réduites, un pays qui ne permettait plus à sa jeunesse de rêver. Sous le ciel orange, nos jeunes ont préféré quitter le pays pour de meilleures opportunités plus justes ailleurs. Et notre gouvernement a la volonté politique et la capacité de changer tout cela, Madame la Présidente. Et ce programme gouvernemental répond précisément à cela. Le programme qui s'intitule « A Bridge to the Future », notre pont vers l'avenir, notre gouvernement, ce gouvernement met l'emphase sur l'avenir, tandis que l'Ancien Régime ne s'est jamais soucié du lendemain, raison pour laquelle aujourd'hui nous avons hérité d'un tel état de notre économie. Nous sommes soucieux de laisser après notre passage un héritage digne à nos enfants. Et ce programme est soucieux de notre jeunesse qui est au cœur même de notre vision pour l'avenir. Nous allons non seulement diversifier notre espace économique, mais aussi créer des moyens pour que nos jeunes puissent s'exprimer et devenir des acteurs véritables de leur avenir. Ce programme marque ainsi une rupture nette entre l'époque où la voix des jeunes était marginalisée. Et l'un des axes majeurs est l'autonomisation des jeunes avec le lancement d'un Youth Empowerment Programme. L'organisation de festivals culturels et artistiques permettront à nos jeunes de s'exprimer librement et de développer leur créativité. Le programme inclut des mesures pour faciliter la transition des jeunes vers le marché du travail et de façon réfléchie, grâce au Skills Master Plan qui pourra mettre fin au mismatch entre les formations et les besoins économiques. Le programme favorise l'accès à des plateformes d'apprentissage numérique, donne les moyens à notre jeunesse de s'engager en leur offrant la possibilité de s'impliquer dans des projets écologiques. Madame la Présidente, l'un des aspects les plus troublants de notre époque est le déclin des valeurs au sein de notre jeunesse. Et ce programme offre une réponse claire et ambitieuse à ce défi en plaçant la famille, l'éducation et le sport au centre de ses priorités, en créant les conditions pour que les familles puissent s'épanouir avec des semaines de 40 heures, le congé parental et le travail flexible après la maternité. Un système éducatif plus inclusif et mieux adapté aux besoins des élèves en ramenant davantage de formation sur les compétences artistiques et sportives. Ce modèle éducatif à visage humain, c'est une éducation qui inspire et prépare à la vie. Le sport, Madame la Présidente, non seulement améliore la santé de la population, mais est aussi vecteur d'inclusion, de cohésion sociale et d'engagement civique. Le sport est un puissant outil de prévention contre les fléaux comme la drogue. Le sport représente la meilleure école de la vie. Il enseigne aux jeunes la valeur du travail acharné, la solidarité, le respect, le dépassement de soi, la persévérance, le fair play, la camaraderie, le sens du devoir. Il enseigne aux jeunes les valeurs et attitudes dont ils ont besoin pour être de bons citoyens. Et l'objectif de notre gouvernement est de mettre le sport au cœur de la vie mauricienne. Madame la Présidente, notre gouvernement apportera le soutien approprié pour que chaque jeune soit en mesure de mener une vie saine et satisfaisante, pour que chaque jeune se sente outillé pour apporter des changements positifs pour lui-même et pour le pays, pour que chaque jeune puisse s'épanouir à son plein potentiel et avoir l'occasion de devenir la meilleure version de lui-même. En conclusion, Madame la Présidente, investir dans notre jeunesse, c'est croire dans l'avenir de notre nation. Donnons à nos jeunes la possibilité de bâtir une île Maurice avec un avenir meilleur, plus fort, plus juste et plus durable. Je vous remercie.
Well, well within your time. Well within your time. Yes, Honourable Minister, Mr. Gunya, yes.
Madam Speaker, as Nelson Mandela once said, may your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Today, I stand before this august assembly filled with hope for a brighter Mauritius. It is with immense gratitude and humility that I rise to address this House for the first time, committed to serving our nation with integrity and dedication. Before delving into the core of my intervention, allow me to express my profound appreciation. First and foremost, I extend my deepest gratitude to the Honourable Prime Minister, Dr. Navin Chandra Ramgoolam, whose unwavering support has been instrumental in my journey. His trust and resolute leadership have not been shaped our nation's democratic and cultural landscape, but have also guided me in assuming this great responsibility. I am equally grateful to the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Paul Béranger, for his support and confidence in me. To serve as the Minister of Arts and Culture is both an honour and a solemn duty, one that I embrace with commitment. It is my firm resolve to ensure that our artists, cultural workers, and the creative industries finally receive the recognition, respect, and support they have long been denied. To my family, my voters, and my constituents. Your support has been the foundation upon which I stand today. I also take a moment to pay tribute to my mentor, the late Dr. James Bertie David, a political giant whose wisdom, vision, and dedication to the people of Mauritius have shaped the person I am today. Madam Speaker, I also extend my heartfelt congratulations to you and the Deputy Speaker on your appointment. Your leadership marks a new dawn for our National Assembly, one of free, vibrant, and fair debate. Madam Speaker, I cannot stand here today without acknowledging the real architects of this historic transformation, the people of Mauritius. On November 10th, 2024, they stood united and made their voices heard. They rejected stagnation, broken promises, and a government that had grown disconnected from their needs. They voted for change. They voted for freedom. They chose a government of action and leadership that listened. The overwhelming victory of the Alliance du Changement is not just a political triumph. It is a victory for democracy, good governance, and the collective aspirations of our people. A UNESCO expert report identified a major flaw obstructing our cultural economy, a lack of institutional commitment. In a section titled A Vicious Circle, the report noted that, and I quote, "The vast majority of those we consulted in cultural industries sectors thought that whatever we wrote in this report would not be implemented or acted upon in any way by the Ministry of Arts and Culture," unquote. Madam Speaker and honorable members, allow me to extrapolate. My observation is not just about arts and culture. It is a symptom of a deeper disconnect between the government and the people of Mauritius. A disconnect that the electorate sought to eliminate in the last general election. A responsibility this government has vowed to uphold. Real change, changement, will only be meaningful if we deliver on it. Madam Speaker, the potential of cultural industries for small island developing states, SIDS, was explicitly recognized at the Mauritius International Meeting for SIDS in 2004. Professor Nurse summarized it best when he stated, and I quote, "The cultural sector plays a dual role as an arena for identity formation and an economic sector with growth potential, including its roles as a key driver of the new digital and intellectual property economy. It is not just a commercial arena, it is an artistic and social space where spiritual values, emotional meaning, and bodily pleasures are displayed, enacted, and represented," unquote. Madam Speaker, this summary is 2 decades old. When the Labour Party left government in 2014, major cultural projects were taking shape following these experts' reports. The past decade, however, has seen stagnation, if not regression, in the fields of arts and culture. It is now my ministry's responsibility to reverse this course with resolve. Cultural policy in Mauritius has historically been viewed as mere expenditure by the government and as a welfare subsidy by the public. Another UNESCO report highlighted that funding has often been allocated based on ethnic religious considerations rather than strategic cultural development. This has led to fragmented policy making and a lack of urgency in fostering a cultural economy. Madam Speaker, this government will change the standard.
As outlined in the government program 2025-2029, we will first champion the cultural economy as a pillar of sustainable development. This will require interministerial collaboration beyond arts and culture, including business, trade, finance, education, tourism, and sports. Second, conduct an audit of our national heritage and cultural assets. This will evaluate public engagement and infrastructure needs for the cultural economy development. Third, establish a National Arts Open Commission. For the first time, our creative sector will have a structured, transparent, and forward-thinking policy aligned with international standards. Madam Speaker, tourism is evolving. Travelers now seek deeper cultural immersion rather than brief resort experiences. Until now, our tourism model has relied on short cultural showcases like a few minutes of Sega. However, a growing segment of visitors desires authentic, immersive experiences, something achievable only with the right infrastructure. By infrastructure, I mean not just heritage sites, but also the preservation and transmission of cultural traditions, as highlighted by Professor Nurse. While heritage is central to tourism, our sites lack the global recognition like those in Europe, China, or India. To change this, we need a holistic approach, one that integrates folk culture, a thriving creative industry, and community engagement. After all, we cannot share what we do not fully embrace. My ministry will collaborate closely with the Mauritius Tourism Promotion Authority to give our cultural tourism sector a nouveau souffle. This vision also requires a secure, harmonious social environment demanding cross-ministerial cooperation. The previously cited report made a damning statement about our built heritage, and I quote, "Mauritius is neglecting its cultural tourism potential and allowing its built heritage to disappear. Port Louis, once among the 1,000 hemispheres' most magnificent cities, may not retain its heritage for another decade. If cultural tourism is to thrive, Port Louis must be seen as a jewel in the crown, not a crime-ridden eyesore." This is a wake-up call. The success of events like the 24/7 Festival, organized in 2009 by the Municipal Council of Port Louis under my administration as Lord Mayor, in collaboration with the Human Resource Development Council, proved that Mauritians have a deep attachment to their capital city. Yet, our public cultural landscape remains insufficient, calling for urgent revitalization to meet the aspiration of our people. Madam Speaker, I need not remind the House that more than 20% of our GDP depends on tourism, a sector that heavily impacts the environment due to its traditional reliance on the sea, sand, and sun model. Developing cultural tourism can help reduce this pressure on ecosystems, and I will seek close collaboration with the Ministry of Environment to ensure a sustainable approach. Madam Speaker, museums, theaters, and cinema were once vibrant cultural hubs in our country. However, the rapid shift in technological infrastructures has significantly contributed to their decline, eroding social interactions and diminishing public engagement. Over the past decade, our public cultural infrastructure has fallen into neglect. Iconic venues like the Sears Constantin Theatre remains inaccessible and in dire need of renovation. The inability of the previous government to revitalize the Mauritius Cultural Center stands as a glaring failure. This government is resolute in its commitment to restoring and modernizing these spaces, positioning culture as a central pillar of national development. Our vision is to establish Mauritius as a cultural leader in the region, and we will take decisive steps to rekindle our cultural identity. Madam Speaker, this is l'Alliance du Changement. This is our vision. It is high time for the arts and culture sector to get back its lettres de noblesse. Pas comment Rocco tu peux faire avec sa ministère-là, que beaucoup de staff tu peux retrouver. Madam Speaker, this is not a tribal issue. In a nation historically driven by economic pragmatism to the point of cynicism, arts and culture have been for the past 10 years treated as an afterthought, viewed as a pleasant but not essential pursuit. Yet, arts and culture are the very soul of a nation, and nurturing this soul requires a collective commitment. The rise of digital isolation is eroding human connection, even fostering incivility. I believe artistic and cultural education is key to a thriving nation. Public spaces that encourage cultural engagement are not luxuries, they are necessities. While we have cultural infrastructure, its revitalization demands strategic funding. We must shift from government dependence to self-sustainability, leveraging public-private partnerships. A structured cultural calendar will enhance visibility and accessibility, ensuring the arts become a vital force in our society. Madam Speaker, the audiovisual sector holds immense potential for Mauritius. We must invest in training and education to uplift this industry through close collaboration with the Ministry of Education. Additionally, the Mauritius Film Development Corporation will undergo a dynamic restructuration to address two key priorities: enhancing film literacy and exposure for both Mauritian and international productions, and fully unlocking the industry's potential through targeted training and skill development. As part of the Assises des Artistes initiative, we will introduce measures such as master classes, compulsory internships, digitized training materials, and increased representation of the Ministry of Arts and Culture and MFDC within the Economic Development Board. The rich linguistic diversity of our society remains largely intact in film production. Script writing and translation present significant economic opportunities that remain underdeveloped. These elements must be integrated into our education system at an early stage. The National Arts Open Commission will be tasked with reviewing the existing framework and implementing necessary reform to meet industry needs. More broadly, media literacy in education is a pressing concern, and we will work with a national curriculum framework to address this gap. A thriving creative industry requires more than talent. It requires education, training, and professional development. Unfortunately, the previous government neglected capacity building initiatives, leaving our artists unprepared for global competition. Under the government program 2025-2029, we will prioritize capacity building by developing specialized training programs in film production, music, digital media, graphic design, and cultural event management. Through international partnership, we will provide mentorship opportunities, world-class expertise, and global exchange program for local artists. This program will foster an investment-driven economy, promote innovation and creativity, and establish arts and culture as a genuine pillar of national development. Madam Speaker, a key measure in the government program 2025-2029 is the expansion of the cultural rebate scheme to encompass all artistic disciplines and the creation of a directory of musical heritage in the Indian Ocean. This initiative will not only support local artists, but also position Mauritius as a vibrant cultural destination on the international stage. Previously, the rebate scheme was limited to film production, leaving other artistic sectors without adequate support. By broadening the scheme, we will ensure that musicians, theatre producers, and visual artists, among others, receive the necessary incentive to sustain their careers. This will open avenues for monetization and professional growth. Madam Speaker, the failure of the past decade are unacceptable. The previous government's policies were poorly designed, ineffective, and failed to deliver tangible results. The so-called Status of the Artist Act 2023 was lauded as a landmark reform, but ultimately amounted to nothing more than a failed promise. This will change. Under the government program 2025-2029, we will introduce legislation that aligns with international standards, such as those established by the United Nations for Cultural Workers. This will provide genuine recognition, legal protection, and financial security to artists, performers, event organizers, and technical professionals. Madam Speaker, one of the most pressing concerns for artists today is the inefficiency of the Mauritius Society of Authors, MASA. This institution was intended to protect intellectual property rights and ensure fair compensation for artists. However, it has failed in its mandate, leaving artists underpaid and frustrated. For years, artists have encountered delays in receiving royalties, faced bureaucratic hurdles, and suffered from a lack of transparency in fund distribution. This government acknowledges that the status quo is unacceptable. We will review MASA to ensure it truly serves artists rather than acting as an administrative burden. Strong enforcement of intellectual property rights is essential for a thriving creative industry, and we will not allow insufficiencies to stifle artistic growth. To conclude, this government program is a bridge to the future, a future where arts and culture drive economic growth, where artists are valued professionals, and where creativity is an engine of progress. This is the government of change. This is government of progress. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, we will break for 30 minutes for tea. For those who can take tea.